Model, socialite, wannabe food blogger? There's more to Barron Hilton beyond his famous fam. The mere fact that Barron Hilton and his brother and sisters grew up in a hotel isn't a big shocker. This is, after all, what the Hiltons do: hotels. Barron and his 3 siblings, Nicki, Paris, and Conrad Hilton, actually spent a portion of their childhood living in the infamous Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Their mother, Kathy Hilton, shared her fond memories of life at the Waldorf Astoria during the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. In Part 3 of the reunion, the family matriarch responded to a fan question regarding her 9-year stint in the swanky New York hotel, saying it was, quote, very, very lovely.
We loved being in close quarters under one roof, except when Paris would sneak out of the service elevator.
Kathy's equally famous half-sister and reality show co-star, Kyle Richards, recalled a few fun moments involving raising kids at the Waldorf.
One day I woke up and we couldn't find Conrad and Alexia, and they were hiding in an air conditioning vent at the Waldorf Astoria.
Who needs a playground when you have a hotel to roam around 24/7? Barron Hilton met Tessa Groffen von Walderdorf in 2016 on the island of St. Bart's. Barron Hilton's future wife revealed to Spirit and Flesh magazine that their connection was instant, saying, "Laying eyes on Barron for the first time was so surreal, almost like a dream. He was sitting there, next to me, and it was as if someone had all of a sudden pressed mute on the remote control to silence the movie around us." The pair announced their engagement via Instagram and returned to St. Bart's to seal their love with a stunning wedding ceremony. While the two could have married anywhere in the world, they chose to go somewhere that holds so much significance to both of them. Sure, it was where they met and fell in love, but the Caribbean paradise is also a space Barron's wife holds dear. She explained to Spirit and Flesh magazine that she has been frequenting the island since she was a child, even living there for a spell. The two wed in one of the most stunning spaces on Earth, but the locale didn't matter as far as Barron was concerned. When Spirit and Flesh asked about his upcoming nuptials, the socialite said, "At the end of the day, we wouldn't mind getting married in a shoebox as long as we have each other." Barron and Tessa Hilton had their first child, Milou Alize, in March 2020. The couple chose a name for their baby based on a love story almost as beautiful as the little family of 3 itself, telling people, "We found the name Milou from where we met, Point Milou in St. Bart's. We thought it was only fitting." Point Milou was one of the first places the pair headed after their island nuptials. The proud parents continued, "Her middle name, Alize, means trade winds in French. The winds of the island are what brought us together. And then, a few years later, it is what brought us Milou. She is a gift from the island." Little Milou assumed the role of Big Sis in September 2022, as the Hilton family expanded yet again with the birth of another baby. Barron and Tessa disclosed to people that the pregnancy was a wonderful, welcome surprise. They announced on Instagram the birth of Caspian Barron Hilton. Count Barron Hilton among the celebrities who dote on their dogs. Barron and his wife definitely have a soft spot for their fur friends. He and Tessa Hilton share 3 pups: Moose Groffen von Walderdorf, Matsu Hilton, and Nobu Hilton. The Hilton fur babies probably helped the young couple get into the parenting swing before they welcomed human kids into their home. Being an animal lover might be in the Hilton genes. Barron's mom, Kathy Hilton, is a loving doggy mom to her pooch named Moda. His aunt, Kyle Richard, adores her canines too, housing 6 beautiful rescue dogs named Smokey, Bambi, Romeo, Luna, River, and Storm. Barron's older sister, Nicki Rothschild, serves on the board for a nonprofit called Animal Haven and lovingly owns a purebred papillon named Minnie. His other famous sister, Paris Hilton, loves animals of all kinds. She has owned at least 10 dogs throughout the years, a few felines, and some other less common animals, including a pig, a pony, rodents, a monkey, and even a kinkajou. Young, rich socialites and embarrassing moments in the public eye often go together like peanut butter and jelly. The Hilton kids easily fell into this cliche during their younger years and are no strangers to run-ins with the law. In 2006, Paris Hilton was arrested on suspicion of DUI, and Conrad Hilton has made several unlawful missteps over the years, earning himself a short prison stint. Before growing into the role of husband and father, Barron Hilton had a few of his own wild moments that he might like to forget altogether. Back in 2013, he had a run-in with a pal of actor Lindsay Lohan named Ray Lemoyne, per Page Six. Words and fists flew at the scene of the fight, a Miami mansion Lohan was staying in. Barron ended up pretty bloodied, and the family ended up pretty mortified. Barron also found himself in hot water a few years prior to the fight when he was arrested for drinking and driving. While under the suspected influence, Barron hit a 76 station employee with his Mercedes-Benz at 8:30 in the morning, per TMZ. The incident reportedly left the man with permanent damage and injuries, prompting him to sue Hilton for just under $5 million. Barron Hilton infuses an artistic touch into most everything he does, and this seems to even extend to his meals. Several years ago, Hilton ran an Instagram account called Barron's Bites. The account hasn't been updated or active since 2017, but pics of yesteryear prove he had a serious talent for imagery and food. From unique and divine caviar burgers to stunning towers of steak tartare topped with quail egg. Perhaps Paris Hilton could have called her brother Barron in for some input and pointers when she was launching her television series, Cooking with Paris. Barron Hilton has strutted his hotness down the runway for multiple designers. But if you look at the brands and creators he's worked for and with, it's clear that art is the drive behind what he chooses to do. He spoke on his wide variety of creative mediums in an interview with Spirit and Flesh, saying, "As an artist, I don't feel the need to stick to one platform. I enjoy experimenting with different mediums. It's all in the process, not the end result. We're all processes of becoming, and it's within art that I discover more about myself." Even when he isn't modeling, he manages to make every Instagram image he is a part of look like the cover of a high-fashion magazine. His amazingly good-looking wife doesn't hurt this vibe, and she showcases their off-the-charts looks, charisma, and creativity on her Instagram as well. It turns out that Barron Hilton loves himself some horror, and he has ever since childhood. His fascination for the film genre stemmed from an unusual event in his younger years, which he explained in a now-deleted Instagram post that said, "It all started when I was 6 years old. I was on a play date where my friend tied me up in his room, put on Child's Play, and left the room, forcing me to watch it alone. I was terrified, yet I loved the adrenaline rush. In that moment, my love affair with horror films was born." He elaborated on his scary flick fascination in an interview with Spirit and Flesh, sharing, "I love the feeling of being scared. It's sort of like an addiction for me." Barron meshed his love of horror with his knack for art. The end product was a movie called En Passant. Barron's sister Nicki proudly shouted out her brother's masterpiece, which he both wrote and directed, on Facebook. Barron told Spirit and Flesh that the film premise came to him out of nowhere, saying, "The idea actually came to me in a dream, except the dream was a lot darker, so we needed to make some adjustments." As of late 2022, Barron Hilton is estimated to be worth $5 million. To most people, this is a lot of money. Yet, considering the fact that Barron's grandfather, also named Barron Hilton, had an estimated net worth of $4.5 billion before he died, Barron the Younger looks comparatively impoverished. Paris and Nicki have certainly amassed many more millions at least. So what gives here? Upon his death, Big Barron, ever the philanthropist, left 97% of his fortune to his family foundation, the Conrad N. Hilton Foundation. It centers around safe water services, HIV and AIDS treatment for youth, disaster relief efforts, and resolving matters of poverty. This division of finances meant that Barron the Elder's family members received significantly less of his abundant wealth. About $5 million was reportedly allotted to Paris per people, meaning that Barron's share may have been similar. And that would mean that his inheritance still makes up most of his fortune. But don't worry, Barron Hilton is probably going to be just fine.